I would like to welcome Ahmed Amir, technology evangelist and author, and he's going to be speaking to us about mobility and cloud transformation. Now, Ahmed explained earlier, unfortunately, he's lost his luggage. So, this isn't his normal presentation style. So, but his slides look very interesting. So just keep looking at them and not his outfit. Thank you.
Digital disruption is always high. We need to be ready with those kind of incidents. And unfortunately, because the digital transformation has not happened at the airport and at the operational level, maybe that could be one of the reasons. As you can see, the topic is about mobility and cloud transformation, building a strategic platform to realize the digital opportunity. I have seen so many presenters have already covered some of the topics, especially on the opportunity side and on the transformation side. However, I will try to not to focus on the things which has been already explained and expressed clearly. Let me start with this strategic technological trends, which was the Gartner, the spelling was wrong. Yes, this spelling is wrong here. It was Gartner who has released these strategic technological trends on last month, 28th. And what Gartner has said is merging of real world and the virtual world. This particular thing in 2012, I have talked on this particular thing in 3 to 4 conferences. And the last presentation, which was full of statistical information, where a lot of information was there. So that kind of that amount of data, it really requires a converging infrastructure, where you can see the Internet of Things, where you have a lot of data which is coming in. We are seeing the data in not only in kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes, and terabytes lately, but since a couple of years we have been listening about the data in petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, and yottabyte. So that amount of data need really a converging infrastructure, not just a computational infrastructure, but there are a lot of elements. So even as a human, we have a personal life, a professional life. So those two lives, they are coming closer. And the data and the way how the data is being shared, those kind of habits, I think in the next slide I mentioned that one. Sharing is caring, something I have mentioned. So here computing everywhere. Every device, what you see, it has certain characteristics, it has a certain shape. It doesn't have to be a computational device, but also non-computational device also it is giving a lot of data. So that data need to be taken care and that need to be analyzed, and where it is a part of the Internet of Things. According to Cisco, I believe by year 2020, there is going to be 20 billion devices, which is which will emit the data, and we need to have that kind of infrastructure in place, which can analyze, which can give the information, where the decisions can be made as good as on the real-time basis. So advanced and pervasive and invisible analytics, because as you might have seen the Xbox and some of the appliances which was shown, nowadays the internet is not just about having a connectivity on your mobile phones. It's not just about your laptops or PCs or So even your home appliances, it becomes smart enough. It has a kind of connectivity. Your gaming consoles, it has a kind of connectivity which can extract and take the data. Even there is a collaboration is happening even while you are playing the game. So actually all those characters are actors which you are seeing, that is nothing but that is the data. Now from the business aspect, from the strategical aspect, we need to see how we can take that particular data and how we can map and relate to our strategies. I was saying one of the questions which was asked in the previous session, something about the change and the strategy, how. So I used to say that change itself is in strategic in nature. So when and your board when they have some thing to be decided, so the change will happen from top to down, where a strategy has been finalized and some KPIs has been given to respective business units or respective managers, and those that has to come from top to down the organization. Whereas the operational excellency and the activities where the operational managers has to do, that has to come from the bottom to up. So actually this is a governance process, and the change it is better to have the change process implemented at the early phase of your business, but that may not be always the reality. Always there are problems or constraints that will come up. And now, since the data it is coming from every device, and there are devices which are invisible, we never thought that those devices also it is gonna give some kind of data. Like when I reach to the airport, the marketer they are giving a geographic location-based marketing. They know that I'm a resident of Saudi Arabia. Now I move to this particular place, and they expect. So based on that, they have strategized in a way their marketing activities, that the hotel promotions will come, some kind of offers. Those things are coming in. So if I am selling like a fridge or a heater during the summer, that may not make sense. But because of the advanced analytics, because of that social media, because of the mobility, and because of the sharing habits of the people, before we think everything is confidential. Come on, you want to see my family and friends? They are mine. But now things are, the mindset transformation is also happening. So when you talk about the business IT transformation cannot happen without the business transformation. And the business transformation cannot happen without the mindset transformation. So no matter how good tools you have in your hand, what kind of emerging technologies, but the way of computing and analyzing that kind of information, if you don't have an out-of-the-box process or out-of-the-box mentality, you will not be able to realize the value. So smart machines, smart algorithms, we used to see at least I think 3 to 4 years before, when Amazon used to give recommended books. So whenever we were clicking, it was about the cookies, browser cookies. It was about your clicks. It was about your past buying behaviors. And based on those attributes, based on those dimensions, based on those data sets, Amazon, they were analyzing the data and they have developed queues. If you are a BI consultant, you take the data from your ERP system, from your social media networks, from your CRM and from your loyalty programs, and even from your line of business. You capture the data, you put in a central repository, and we analyze and we try to map and relate. Mapping and relating, it is an art. That comes with the knowledge, and the knowledge cannot come without the information. And I used to speak in some of the events. Most of us, they are like the CIOs, Chief Information Officer. And what I have seen, that the information is given. If you complain about some problem, the CIO or the head of the IT, he got the information. But the action part was missing. So what is the use of that information or being responsible for that particular information without action? So action is the key. So information, you have the data, but you cannot take an action, or the data it is not available in a way where you can take actions. And in order to take actions, you need to have you need to adopt the dynamic capabilities. In a couple of conferences, some of the universities which I have addressed, the students, they are complaining, you are teaching us all of this, but when we go out, we are actually adding to the unemployment rather than emerging as a skilled resources who can contribute to the society, who can contribute to the business. That particular element is missing. So from the academia side, yes, there are basic things, foundations that it will be built. But those dynamic capabilities you need to learn, or you need to adopt, or you need to find yourself a way how you can grab that information. So there are so many things over here, like software-defined applications, infrastructure, and appliances, which are also emerging these days. Brocade, and you talk about the EMC, you talk about the web. So many companies, they are coming in with a lot of software-defined applications, where the smartness or the intelligence is being already integrated and bundled and engineered into that particular system. When you place a box, the engineered box, you don't need to really configure those DMZ zones or those firewalls. It can recommend you what is the firewall, what kind of family of firewall, or what kind of security gateway it is required. So the intelligence is happening, and all of that because of those predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, and there are other slides I have. This is what I was saying. So sharing is caring, but not all the time. There are privacy concerns over there. And security has been always as a part of the discussion since more than 2 decades. I have the 2 decades of experience. This is what I have been listening. Security was a concern and is a concern, and it will remain a concern. The only thing what you can do, you can bounce back with the governance, you can bounce back with the resilience. In case of adversity, when you have a bad situation, there has to be a policy in place, there has to be procedures in place. Take a small example, backup and restore. Let us not talk about a lot of fashionable and new buzzwords. People who back up, they don't know how to restore. Even if they know how to restore, because of some reason restore cannot be done. Because from the technological perspective or from the IT professional, because you see I have like 5 tera of data, I need to also have available another infrastructure where I should be able to restore in case of any disaster. You have a successful backup, but you cannot restore because of whatever the reason, mostly technical reasons. And this is what the business manager, they don't like IT people. So business is dynamic, it is changing. Change itself is static in nature. We are living in a world of change, where the change is always embedded with the constraints, problems, resource limitations, no matter whatever you call. And that requires dynamic capabilities. Whether it could be, I will talk on some of the skill sets, because in a lot of sessions I have been asked, what kind of skill set I need to adopt in order for me to become a big data consultant or a specialist, or to have that kind of capability. Sometimes people, they think it's a VMware virtualization certificate that makes me also. So when you talk about the IT, it is always about different elements. We are talking about heterogeneity. There is not a single vendor who can solve all the problems of the business. So we are living in a heterogeneous world where you may need to take some storage from maybe EMC or IBM, and something you have to take from Citrix, from the virtual desktop point of view. Maybe from the virtualization, you may need to go for the VMware. So for the Microsoft, you may need to go for the operating system. So we are living in a heterogeneous world where your data center is nothing but it is performing it is delivering a lot of services which is being contributed by different vendors. The software vendors and different service providers for different geographic locations, for different products in different regions, in different climatic conditions. So adopt and deploy changes with quick and ease. So when we talk about the mobility or the social technologies or social platform, these are the things which has really empowered every human being today. Whatever you do it, whether it's your personal activity or your professional activity, without this you are not going to be successful. The business cannot be successful without considering the mobile strategy in their organization. Most of the organizations, what I have seen, especially the large organizations, they does have the information strategy in place, but still those they are not. It has not been granularized. Even we have been talking, bring your own device, bring all your devices, containerization, virtualization of applications, virtualization of your hardware, so many things, but still we are not having that kind of structure, weight, and then those we need to have what structure is having what processes, and each process, what are the controls from the governance perspective, the last presentation. Every process has to have a certain controls, and fortunately or unfortunately, yes, there may be a compliances and where we can see this is the industrial best practice for this particular industry, but the controls are not visible. Every business process, the controls are not visible. If the controls are not visible, how I am going to measure the performance of that particular business process? How I am going to show to the auditors that there is no risk or we are complying to those controls? So still there is a lot of gap, and where we can work on those elements. So when we talk about the innovation is nothing but it's always about the simplification. From the security perspective, from the hacker's perspective, hacker will not go and will not bang his head on the iron wall. He wants an easiest way of approaching to an unauthorized information, access to unauthorized information. So those are the lazy guys. Hackers are the lazy guys. They want the easiest way where he can fetch the information. So the negative side of that, the mobility, it is providing that opportunity for them. Your Android devices, most of the Android devices, because it's an open operating system, where you have a lot of APIs, you have a lot of social technologies in place, and you can integrate. Flexibility is given, but again, there is an opportunity where somebody can leak in. From the security perspective, what I have seen most of the time when we talk about the security, anything, mostly it is considered by the enterprises the infrastructure security, a port level security. Sometimes it's like an HTTP or HTTPS or some kind of protocol level security. But there are a lot of other dimensions. Believe me, the hacker don't have to break his head. When he goes, just let him say, let's talk about 3 to 4 vendors, Oracle, SAP, Microsoft, and some of the large companies who has a lot of database and application server. You just get those default usernames and default passwords. Believe me, you'll find at least 5 to 10% of the companies where either service account or something will be there, you'll find it. This is how the people will get in. They are not going to bang and trying the random passwords and those algorithms, advanced algorithms. Yes, there may be some groups, they may be using that, but normal guy they can. So those are the best practices which you need to consider, you need to structure, you need to align, and you need to see how you can transform. So contextual computing. These days we are listening now. Before we were talking about the big data, structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. Now we are becoming more advanced. Today we are living, since last year, we are in the phase of realization. It's not just awareness about the cloud, big data, or you talk about the SMAC. It is the realization phase, how we can realize. Of course, for everybody to realize, the first step is about the POC, proof of concept. Start with anything. This is what the big companies they have done, including Google. Perceptual processing, and then there are other things. So data, when it is moving, data on the move. Before the data it was always on the rest, but now the data is moving, the data is changing, business is changing. All those things you need to consider. This is the, you see, this yesterday's. This is my mobile snapshot. I was at the airport 3:37 a.m. So I did not sleep all night, and they have given me without my camera stand and without my suit. This is what I have received from the Google, from the Facebook, updating our terms. I think so many of us used to receive those kind of terms of use, privacy updates and all of that. Have you worried to see what they are saying inside? You don't need to worry about the data privacy. When you read, there are some keywords. There are like meta tags you can use. Using updating our terms and policies, helping you understand how Facebook works and how to control the information. So they are taking the information and they are saying we want to give you a relevant advertisement which will be given to you in a way which suits your need. In a way, so okay, let me go to the other one. See, privacy basics. We don't need to go for a training for learning the privacy. Just read those terms and terms of use and privacy. For 3 vendors, you will understand that privacy, data privacy, and everything in full detail. This is yesterday's one. Your information and advertising. We are not going to advertise something which you don't care. We will only advertise something which is relevant, which you care. Maybe what you care today, you may not care tomorrow. And that is the thing. So if you are caring today, you have to care also about tomorrow. What do you think today? Come on, Facebook is something. But actually, all your, like when I access this particular, of course, my location coordinate has gone. So they understand that this guy is always traveling, and this is the area of his travel. So let us try to develop a package for these many millions of customers so that you can sell. And most of the time, this guy, he always accesses through the mobile, this particular Facebook app or whatever. This is how the business runs. We need to understand that one. Giving you more control over ads. Actually, you are going to get a lot of ads after this. And there is no choice. I have to agree. If I need a Facebook, I have to agree. That was only an alert for me to read and understand. If I have to say, I have to give only the feedback. Make purchases more convenient. Whenever you want to purchase something, it will be very convenient. Okay, now when we are talking about developing a strategy, a digital strategy, you need to plan, you need to try to map what kind of, what is the direction of your business, and you need to plan that one and you need to create, and you have to adopt a right digital platform. A right digital platform means platform has, it could be a social media platform, it could be your integrated enterprise platform, which could be an SAP, which could be a Microsoft, it could be an Oracle or whatever. So all those things you